you want to hear an interesting thing? Interesting thing from my Rabbi, Rav Zeichet Tzadik Levracha. Interesting thing. He writes like this. He writes that, Tachlis, what should we be going for? Michael Drusai, Mitztamik Viraloi, what should we go? Obviously, it's always better just to have a blech, and then you don't have to even think. And for some people, to think is a very difficult process, right? So you have a blech, and then you never have to think again. That's for sure. But the Maisa, let's say for whatever the case is, you don't have a blech or whatever. Let's say it's a cholent pot. What should you be going for? So we said the Ikra Halacha, the Mishnah Berurah says is Meichel Ben Drusai, and certainly there's a hiddur of Mitztamik V'Yafalai, and whatever. And we talked about the oven case, and I said about 5 or 6 different Limudei Schusim in the oven. But the Maisa Rafalk in page 166 in his wonderful Sefer Zacher V'Shamar, which is a Sefer. It's not like it's it's not a book. It's a Sefer. It's written with his, if I'm not mistaken, the top for sure is him, and the bottom is, I think it's what? But I think it seems to be it's Derek Kallus. It's what he held him, and he writes over there that the minig is an interesting chap. The minig is to be mako like a shita that doesn't exist. Now I gave this shita that doesn't exist a name. I called it a Rabbeinu Chananel, but he means it's not the mavur and the paiskin. This shita. What's that shita? That shita is generally we find it's either Meichel Ben Drusai, or in other words, Meichel Ben Drusai and upward is mutter, or Mitztamik V'Yafalai or Mitztamik V'Raloi is mutter, and everything else is aser. Those are the 2 shitas that we found over here in the Shulchan Aruch. He says the minig Yisrael is that once it's fully cooked, you mekel. Even if it's Mitztamik V'Yafalai, which is not a shita that gets a lot of airtime. Where's the makor? So he says, like a remez ladavar, like we said in the Bir Halacha. The Bir Halacha is very weird Bir Halacha. It's a hard to read Bir Halacha. The Bir Halacha says that you should make sure the food gets fully cooked and then be masalik from the gechalim. Now everyone's trying to figure out what the Mishnah means. He means cook it up fully and then put it into towels. It's a little bit interesting that the Mishnah would tell me that, right? Sounds like what the Mishnah brings is that you should get it fully cooked and then don't let it sit directly on the coals. Why not? Stam, because the coals is the problem that you might, anyways, you're going to move the coals when you pick off the pot, but you could still leave it on the fire. I guess you would, put it close enough that you're on the fire. He just means don't put it on the coal part, but put like some type of maybe like a tripod the Pais can talk about. They used to have like what we call sometimes like this, like the camera over here. The guys on the computer, you can see there's a camera. So the tripod, so it means just take it that it's not sitting on the coals mamish. It shouldn't be sitting on the coals mamish. The way he's learning, in other words, is that you're not making a blech on the coals. You're not doing ketum on the coals, but you're making sure it's fully cooked. That's how he learns. And then, what's that shita? You're still going to come to stoke according to Rabbanon, and according to Chananya, it was mutar Meichel Ben Drusai. So he said it's like a minig. It's like a minig that the Klal Yisrael accepted on themselves. Something I could understand it about. It's a mamsha pella that there are no rishonim that held like this. It's a pella. I mean, I don't know if it's a kashik, it's a kasha on the Gemara, but there's a kashik. There's no amoroyim that had such a stuff. The truth is that there's a way to learn the Gemara. It's very difficult Gemara, so just take my word for it or don't. But there's a way to learn the Gemara that within one shita of the Rabbanon, once the food would be fully cooked, it would have been mutter, right? But it's a pella that shita wasn't. We would have on our own said there's a difference between if something is fully cooked and something is Meichel Ben Drusai, and there's a difference if something is fully cooked and it's Mitztamik V'Yafalai, right? We would have said such a thing. The Maisa Rafalk says that you can be saimich on this shita. This is the minig Yisrael, and the kapanim. Where's it negeya us? Where's it negeya? Anyways, in the oven. That's generally where it's negeya. Most of the people in this room, where's it negeya? It's negeya in an oven. Right? I mean, after yesterday's shiur, it might be a little bit more negay. We'll see in a minute because it's not so clear what's called mitztamik v'yafalai, right? But where's it negay is an oven? In an oven, anyways, it had many reasons to be makel. So therefore, let's be kafei halacha. If you want to know, is it mutter l'chatchila to put fully cooked items inside an oven on Erev Shabbos? The answer is yes. You have all of my tzirufim, and now you have a falk saying that's the minik. So the answer is yes. It's mutter to put things into an oven. That's number one. That's number one. Number two is. It's interesting, right? But that's what comes out. Number two is, just to give you a little bit like, yes, Rabbi Samuels? Sorry? What, so if you're going to pull out the come again? No. So again, klape opening an oven, it's Mitzvah Shem, we will go into it, but each oven's different. But there are ovens that once they're on, so then you are allowed to open them. I'm just afraid to go into it now. And you have ovens that when they're off, it might be worse. Because when the oven is off, I don't mean off for good. I mean once it's off. So then there's, somebody asked me what's the difference between that and a fridge. The people that I mean the old fridge. It's not the new fridge. But the old fridges used to open up the fridge and then it would maybe turn on it. I told them the difference is about 400 degrees. I mean, when you open up a fridge, right? What's the difference between the inside air and the outside air? About 30 degrees, 40 degrees, 50 degrees. But when you open up an oven, what's the difference between the inside air and the outside air? About 400 degrees. What? So therefore, it's all of a sudden the oven starts. It's winter and it's freezing, right? The oven's going to go on, right? So it's more mistaber that it's more of a psikration. But that's why I don't want to go into now opening oven doors. But let's assume, that the oven is off. The truth is most people are trying to do that anyways, right? We're trying to make a matter where their oven will go off in an hour and whatever. Right? And that's in that case, you want to know, is it lechatchila? It's lechatchila. It's lechatchila. But then nimnu v'karbo. Another thing is, it's just like, to give you a little bit of a table of contents so that we can follow along. Now we're going to go now, like I said, through the Shulchan Aruch, sif by sif, Bez Hashem. Yeah, Mishabura, meaning sif cotton by sif cotton. Obviously, skip here and there, but just to give you a little bit of a table of contents, right? We know that shehiyah is aser. There's about 7 different kulas. That's what we're doing now, right? There's 7 kulas. Shehiyah is aser, and there's 7 kulas, right? What's the kulas? What are the kulas? Right? It's a shame, a person sometimes he gets all the way. It's so difficult, Bishul and Shi and Chazar, and he gets to now he's going to miss out on all the kulas. He gave up at this point already. Now you're missing out on all the kulas. So there's 7 kulas. Most of them we're going to either have talked about or be ma'arich on now. Kula number 1 is kashu gvava, whatever goes into kashu gvava. Kula number 2 is gar fekatim, whatever goes into gar fekatim. Kula number 3 is going to be Michael ben Drusai, those sheetahs that hold Michael ben Drusai. Kula number 4, I know people like this, like everything was like that, so it's a good thing to be Masada. Kula number 4 is mitztamik v'ralei, right? Mitztamik v'ralei. Kula number 5 is soimich, smicha, right? Whatever it's called, smicha. Smicha is when you're not, because you understand there's a difference between being on top of a fire and on being on the side of a fire, because heat rises. So male is obviously more of a chshivas. That has a lot to do with what we spoke about yesterday in the Bir Halacha, with the Chazaynish, because heat rises, so therefore the kira and being on a blech, blocking your fire, is a lot more dangerous than being on the side. And if something is going to be considered to be a smicha on the side, it's going to be its own set of rules. What the rules are, Mitzvah Hashem. Kula number 6, I plan on talking about Bez Hashem today a little bit, is a kitcher chaisa. That's a piece of raw meat, whatever that is some kind of heter. And the last heter that we're going to see, which is really not so much over here, it's in Reish and Dalet, but Bez Hashem will talk about it, is what's called tach betet, which again, all these things, we got little bits of mentions in Zachem, but maybe I should have started the first day with this, right? Sorry? So Tzarech Machar is going to go into the heter of Kitcher Chaisa. It's not its own heter. This is the table of contents. The table of contents. That's the Chayr. And again, we have to, Bez Hashem, we have to try to work this out. We have to work this out. Now, Maisa, let me just mention like a sikun, not even a sikun, but just what came out from yesterday, because this is like a very, 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 very wichtige Sache. I mean, we need to know this. What came out yesterday is the Mishabur over here, our Rabbi, Mishabur told us what's called mitztamik v'yafaloi. So Mishabur says, raloi, right? Pirish, kol davar sh'adam etziv kishi yavish v'niskav machad drev abishal. He gets sad. He gets sad when this food gets, all shriveled. He gets sad. And what's mitztamik v'yafaloi? Hainu shusamech b'zeh. He's happy. Okay. So what? And we said yesterday. So what's in between? No, Rabbi Lieberman, you came all the way from quarantine. So what's in between? What if something is not something that makes you happy, but it also doesn't make you sad? I'm sure there's a lot of things, right? I'm sure there's a lot of things. There's like a lot of things. I'm not or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you have to think about it. Okay. So yesterday, and I said something which I want to make it very clear. It's the Chayr Tzadavar Bar. Yesterday we said that there's a whole long Bir Halacha over here over who it's Tamid V'Ralei. Over here, the Bir Halacha has a long arichas in the Bir Halacha to tell you about this case and that case, and he wants to know what the Ramban says, and he wants to know, but there's a Yerushalmi, and he wants to know. I don't care. Do I care what the Yerushalmi? I care what Yerushalmi Yidden held 2,500 years ago. Not 2,000 years. Maybe it's a little bit closer now. I care what Yerushalmi Jews held 2,000 years ago. If something is mitzvah, who cares? Who cares? The only thing I can think of is that maybe because these guys haven't changed in 2,000 years, and maybe it'll be a raya. But then, is that going to be kaveya for the Gan Teretz Yisrael? I mean, who cares? Who cares? So you know what the answer is? The answer is Bir Halacha cares. The Bir Halacha cares. What does that do for us? Forget chakiras. I don't want to confuse. I just want to say halacha l'maisa. You know what that does for us? That means that I want to know not what you hold, Rabbi Yodekin. I don't want to know, Rabbi Bergman, what you hold. I don't care if you think that the potato kugel is yafalai. I don't care. And I don't care about you if you think that the chicken soup is ralai. I don't care. Right? I want to know be'etzim. I want to know be'etzim, is it something that is a benefit, or is it something that in the global picture is a chasar? Now, I admit that this is very difficult. It is going to be very difficult to figure out what is be'etzim. And you know what? It's I suppose even the Bir Halacha you could still ask a question on. It's not as aggressive a question. But why do I care what went on in Iraq circa 170, or Yerushalmi, or in Palestine circa 180 or 190 or 210? What do I care? Because I need to know what's going on today. I suppose the answer is that, in fact, it's not even so upgefragt. The eating habits, anyways, generally, certainly until the time of the Mishnah Berurah, you see, didn't really change. And Stam is like, the eating habits were the same. And if you're trying to figure out what's a general picture of Kol Mitztamik V'Yafalei and what's a Ralai, the general picture is always the same. Now, today in the year 2020, 2,000 years after Iraq, and Babylonian literature, it's true that eating habits are very, very different, very, very strange, very, very this. And the liberals have taken a tremendous, tremendous koyach in the press, and that does have a lot to do with this. Don't ask me why, but it does. And therefore, eating habits of the be'etzim, of the velt and hagas ha'olam, are difficult to be kaveya. They're difficult to be kaveya, but you get my point that the question is not as aggressive. The question is not as aggressive. The question is on a Mishnah Berurah if you're supposed to each and every person be figuring it out on his own. If you're supposed to be figuring it out societal and makim and zman and whatever, so Mishnah Berurah has a right to give you, an address to try and figure out if something is be'etzim, inherently of value, if it's inherently a ma'ila, if it's mitzvah rala inherently or not. That's first of all. And yesterday, so there were some achreinim that they wanted to bring a raya not like this. And the raya, I realized afterward, it's mamash a raya brewer to everything we said. I realized afterward, not only is it not a kasha, but it's mamash a raya brewer. It's mamash a raya brewer. I realized it's like I say in terrace. It's not even because it's mamash a raya brewer. I have a raya brewer to everything we said, right? But you have to also, it's mamash a raya brewer. No, it's mamash a raya brewer. You want to say? What should I say? Rabbi Shiur says, right, he doesn't understand the Shiur Tziyun. He doesn't say, that's a kasha. What? The Shiur Tziyun comes along with an unbelievable chiddush. Its chiddush is that if there are guests, so then you should know, once there are guests, let's say chicken soup, that's a good example. So if there's guests and you're going to lose out on your chicken soup now, so that's called mitzvah v'ralei, right? And the Shiur Tziyun is coming to say a chiddush. Right? I'm saying it right, Rabbi Shiur? No, it's coming to say chiddush. Shiur Tziyun says a chiddush. What's a chiddush? So the Shiur Tziyun, that if there's guests, I could take that into the cheshbon. That's the chiddush of the Shiur Tziyun. If there's guests, I could take it into the chiddush, into the cheshbon, to decide if something is considered a benefit or if something's. So says the Shiur Tziyun. Once there's guests, I could take it into consideration and consider it to be a chesaron, and therefore it's called a mitzvah mikvah because I'm going to lose out on my chicken soup if I have a. What's the chiddush? Of course, just a moment. What's the chiddush? All right. If the halacha of mitzvah v'yafalei, mitzvah v'ralei is based on each and every individual, so then about each and every individual will be asked. So what's the chiddush b'chlal? What's the chiddush b'chlal? Of course, if I have guests, each person at each day, it's going to be tali in that day. Meaning it's tali in the balabadishkai. Does he have a reason to stoke or does he not have a reason to stoke? And he doesn't care about his society and he doesn't care about anything else. Right? So what is the chiddush of the Shiur Tziyun? The Shiur Tziyun says, if you have guests, so then you know what? That could be called mitzvah mikvah. Okay, shkoyach. I knew that anyways. It's up to me. If I decide that I want to stoke, I will stoke. If I decide that because of guests, I'm not going to stoke, I won't stoke because it's called rala. So then what is the chiddush? The teretz is, it's about the chiddush because we don't look at each in person by himself. So the chiddush is that, so maybe I should look at the food be'etzim and I shouldn't look at the circumstance be'etzim. Kamash malan, that when we're being kaveya, avada, we don't look at you, but we certainly do reckon with the circumstance. we certainly reckon with a circumstance to be Keveya if this is called a Yafalai or a Rala. Just one moment, I know you want to ask something about Rash. Let me just finish this thought. And Lefi this, it's very good that in the Bir Lacha, at the end of the Bir Lacha, he says, so what if you have something that you're not sure? What do you mean you're not sure? What do you mean not sure? Are you going to stoke or not? I mean, is it kedai for you to stoke? What does he mean he's not sure? How can you have a case where it's not sure? Right? I don't even know what it means. What does it mean you're not sure? Meaning, Bishlamov, there was like, there's something in the middle. There's the Alphaloi and there's Raloi. It sounds like from the Mishnah Berurah that Raloi means he's sad about what's going to happen, right? I don't know. It seems to be there's nothing in the middle. And so I'll ask you, Tachlis, is it kedai for you to stoke? Are you happy? What's the answer? Are you happy or you're not happy? I mean, so what's the suffix? The suffix means he's in the middle case? What's the case? What? But what do you want? No, what do you want? Tell me. What do you mean you don't know? I'm asking you. What do you don't tell me? I don't know. Is it kedai for you to do it or not? Make a cheshbon. Decide right now. You might change your mind. No, I'm asking you right now. Not before you change your mind. What? No. We're going to be kaveh now. In your matzah right now, do you want the potato kugel to be, shrunk? What do you mean you don't know? You don't know? He wants to. What? What? Wait 1 second. Look at the lashon of the Bir Lacha. The Bir Lacha says, wait, one sec. He says, the kol shen yadeh bebirer im hu mitztamik v'raloi ayafaloi roy la'achmer bay. If you don't know bebirer, right? So what? Just again, maybe I don't know. Maybe that's the biggest kasha. I don't know. Anybody understand my kasha? You understand my kasha? Let's explain it to him. Do you guys on TV understand my kasha? So Fishy answers. He says no. So maybe the case is that he's not happy, but he's not sad. He doesn't care. And as he's not happy, I was thinking maybe that's the case, right? He's not happy. He's not happy that it shrinks, right? He's not happy it shrinks, right? But he's not sad when it shrinks. What? I'm not what? But maybe he will do the fire because he wants more heat. What? He'll just leave it. Oh, let me leave it. I don't have to answer you guys everything. I'd got the kids there. What? No, that's not what the Mishnah is talking about. The Mishnah says if he doesn't know if it is mitzvah v'yafal or rala. No, he means the food. He's talking about the food. He doesn't know what type. He's not saying that. He's saying he's going on the entire Bir Lacha after discussing all the foods. And he says, what if you have a type of a food? He's going off the Bir Lacha. He's not saying it. No, wait, Rabbi say, the guys on TV, you guys should probably know this stuff better. Right? Lamaisa, what's with chicken soup? The tachlis, is chicken soup and stomach v'yafal or is it ralei? So did you guys, I was mamish bothered by this child last night. So I did something about it. Did anybody do something about it? Tachlis, no, DJ? What did you do about this child? You don't care. You don't care. Is it yafalei or not? Is it yafalei? So I asked the caterer. Nusi is a caterer. Everything is yafalei until a certain point. You want me to take out my violin? What? Everything is yafalei until a certain point. No. The guy's on TV. Yofalei. Somebody says yofalei. What are you, Schweitzer? You eat your Tommy mayonnaise. You can't just come along and say yofalei. You can't just do that. No. When it starts to get concentrated, you can't do Rabbi Silverman. I could press you off. Somebody told me how I could do it. 1 second. What are you doing? Don't just say, I think it's yofalei. I don't care about you in Lakewood if you care if it's yofalei or not yofalei. Right? Mephiskis just placed it. He was afraid to put, who's this? Rabbi Joseph. What? Velt says yafalei. Slensky says yafalei because the Velt says yafalei. He says, that's a smart answer. That I do care about, right? So I asked the caterer. So the caterer told me, of course it's yafalei. Of course it's yafalei. What's the shayla in the world? What's the shayla? Told me, of course it's yafalei. You want more and more, you want more and more chicken soup. You want more and more of the taste. and he's cooking more and more and more. And then he told me something which I realized after it. It's not interesting. He told me if there's chicken in the soup, which many of the times there is chicken in the soup, so he said it's a kavachomer, it's yafaloi, right? Because the chicken is getting more cooked. Interesting. I'm not sure. What? More flavor. In other words, the chicken, the soup is nemtzach. It sucks out more and more of the chicken. No. Okay. He said, you're not asking me. You're asking what my clients want. He said that also. You're a Gavin Rabbi Singer. He's a guy. This guy got it. What? Don't do that. I'll throw something at you again. Right? What are you doing? I'm talking about a type of a food now. Don't tell me about a matziv. Every food in the end, if you start stoking it, it's going to burn. What's wrong with you? Talk upon him. So it comes out like this. So DJ, who didn't care until a few minutes ago, he didn't care. So DJ, you should know all the weeks he has his chicken soup on a fire. He has chicken soup on a fire, and he doesn't use a blech because he says until now he thought, and this is my example. So it's I was always saying the example of chicken soup because it just boils out and whatever, right? So especially if he has guests, but there's no guests in Corona. It became an antisocial belt. Right? So he said, so till now you didn't have so you know what? From now on, you're having a blech for the chicken soup. Because I don't care that you don't care. I want to know what the chefs hold. What are the chefs? What the vets in the chefs hold? And Rabbi Slansky writes over here, that's what the Welt holds, right? And Rabbi Meister says in Schweiz over there, that they all also, the Welt holds like that. It seems to be that the book, does anybody want to disagree with this? I don't think so. I can disagree with it. I only thought this yesterday for the first time. This is like fresh off the press, right? So that, which isn't run by the liberals. My press is not run by the liberals. Okay, so that's number one. Now, I'm not afraid of you, Rabbi Sher. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid. Rabbi Sher says, what if you have a guy? He's chaylik on the Welt. He's that guy. You know that guy. Whatever the Welt does, I do care. Right? Just walked past him a few minutes ago without a mask. You know that guy, right? You don't care, right? So, tachlis, I don't care because if the Welt holds. It's a big pella. He's asking, it's a big pella. If the Welt told that this thing is mitzdanik v'raloi, and me, I want it, and I have a Yetzirah to stoke. I'm telling you, I have a Yetzirah. So it sounds like from the Paiskim over here that such a thing is going to be mutter. Why? Because I guess like plug. I guess Chazal when they were Kaiser, so they don't look at it. Tachlis Karat, it's Shabbos. It's Shabbos. They were Kaiser on a type of food. It's just that. It's not the shot that he has to be mechatev because he knows it's Shabbos. So he's going to have a yetzer, but Chazal, you're only geyser on a type of. He's right though, but that is the chiddush. That's the chiddush. That brings out the chiddush. Yeah. Let's say no. My case the other day, I told you there was a guy with the cholent. The guy told me that he doesn't like cholent when it gets all brown like that. He doesn't like it. And so what's the answer? The answer is that enochanami. That's the other way. Sorry, that's the other way. Yeah, no, that's not right. That's the other way. Yeah, no, you're right. His case is the other way. Yeah, enochanami. Okay, let me get. Now let's start this year. Okay. So it's like this, Rabbi saying, let's start this year. But now, Rabbi saying, so I had a shayla like this. So two people called me with a shayla, right? The truth is, it's mamish what we're up to, but it's a little bit out of order. But the Shulchan Aruch really in the next line says this, and this is so the Shulchan Aruch goes on, and he says, I'm reading just in Shulchan Aruch now, right? Shulchan Aruch says, because somebody called like this, he said, what do I do? Tachlis. I'm not with the blechs and this. He says, I just want to take a cholent and have it for lunch. Is there any way I don't have to with the silver foil and all the stuff and taking it in and taking? I hear what he's saying. After what we said a little bit, you have to take it in the cholent, you have to take it out. I'm not doing chazara. Is there any eitzah for me? And is there any eitzah? So I told him you can put it on a hot plate. A hot plate is that is a super blech. So I'm not taking chances with my cholent. Right? I'm not taking chances with my cholent. So was. He said, I'm not taking chances with my cholent. He doesn't believe that a cholent is going to cook on a hot plate, right? I told him to try it on a Tuesday. Try it on a Tuesday. Then if you see it works, he thought, das is a raya. I have such a He said to me, das is a raya. He says, and what? And on Shabbos, it's a whole different mitzias. It's all different mitzias. And Shabbos, you have a neshama yisrael, on a weekday not. I said, yeah, but the hot plate doesn't have a. He told me, he has a suffix bichlal if a hot plate would even work on a Tuesday. Do you realize that we're surrounded by such Maridik Yidden? It's unbelievable. He doesn't believe, he has a munah that it's not going to work. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. Akapanim. So Tachlis, he wants to know, is there any Eitzah for me? Is there any Eitzah? No, it's a good shayla. Is there any Eitzah? Okay, that's one shayla he wants to know. Then somebody else asked me, and Tachlis, somebody in the room over here, he asked me, what happens right before Shabbos? I wake up, it's like 25 minutes before Shabbos. I just want to have chicken cutlets for Shabbos or something because I wake up late and whatever. What am I going to do for Friday night meal? Is there any Eitzah for me? Is there any Eitzah for me? Okay, so let's talk about those two Jews right now. Let's talk about those two Jews. So the Shulchan Aruch tells them what to do. Don't worry. Zog the Shulchan Aruch. He says, Zog the Shulchan Aruch. Oi, what's the Eitzah? This is the next line in Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch just told us about Mitzvah Yofalai, now Mitzvah Ralai. Now it says the Shulchan Aruch a new Eitzah. Oi, Shehu Chai. He's a lebediker. Shaloi is bashal klal. It has not been cooked at all. The kevan Shehu Chai, since it's raw, Mesiach daitai mimenu ad lamacher ubechol alayla yachal is bashal kal bechita. Okay, ad kan the Shulchan Aruch. I know. Now, there's the next line in Shulchan Aruch. I think the guys like when they do it like this. So you read one line by line in Shulchan Aruch, right? So the Shulchan Aruch says that there's another Eitzah. The Eitzah, if it's raw, manavshach, if you have something raw in there, it's good. Why? Because if manavshach, even if I stoke, it's not going to help. So obviously I don't want it for tonight. Elamai, I want it for tomorrow. By tomorrow, there's enough time to cook. So that's the big Hesech Hadas Shaykh. In other words, now this is a new type of Hesech Hadas. We saw Hesech Hadas in the fire, the type of fire. You could use a kashu kvava. That's one type of Hesech Hadas. As I Hesech Hadas, that I'm using a type of a fire, it shows I'm not in the cooking process. Then we had a Hesech Hadas in when you did something to the fire, gorev, katem, vablecht, whatever. Okay. Then we had a Hesech Hadas when it was a type of a food. It's not food. I'm not interested. It shows if I made sure that before Shabbos the food is already, a Michael Ben Yisai, let's go with that shita. So then you see that I'm Mesiach Das from the cooking process because I'm not worried. It's Mesiach Das. Then now we have another Hesech Hadas. What's the next Hesech Hadas? And that's a new Hesech Hadas. Hesech Hadas in the type of food, not because it's fakir, it's cut, because it's so upgefrekt. It's so upgefrekt that I'm a siach das from the whole entire cooking process. It's upgefrekt, right? By the time it gets there, I won't need the stove. By the time that tonight, then it's not going to be ready. As I decide, it's upgefrekt, and therefore I'm a siach das. That's the case of the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch goes on, and he says that because this is mamish v'negeh, right? This means this heter is even without a blech. Which means that in a crock pot, without the marsham, let's say, right? In a marshak, sorry, in a crock pot, there's no blech. So now this is the savior. This is the savior. A crock pot is a regular fire, an open fire. Okay, it's a very common, normal case. What I'm saying, right? A crock pot, there's no blech. He just takes a raw cholent, and he takes the cholent, and when's the cholent for tomorrow? Mamalashach. If he leaves it there the whole entire night, Gavaldik, by the time the morning comes, it's going to cook. If for tonight, even if you would stoke, it's not going to get there. Let's say. So I wasn't sure about that before I said it. Right? This person told me it's 100%. He told me even if you put it on to high, is what he told me. Is it true? By the meal. We'll see soon. But after the meal might be different. He said, but if you put it on the crock pot on high, right? He said to me, what, 2 hours? 2 hours, it's not shaykh. Even if the meal goes 3 hours, it's not shaykh that the cholent is going to cook. And my wife agreed. And it's true, okay? Just making sure, right? I mean, if you put it on high, okay? So Mamela, this is the Eitzah. And not only that, the Shulchan Aruch goes on, and the Shulchan Aruch says later on, Shulchan Aruch says, and not only that, it's enough to just throw in one raw thing, because it's a big chiddush. That's already a big chiddush. What's the pshat? I guess well, you throw in one raw thing, and that shows that it's a ma'aser that advises on the Hesech Hadas. I guess that's how you have to learn it. You put in one piece of raw meat, let's say, or something like that. So it shows that you're anyways not going to have what you want for tomorrow, for tonight. And then they say it's a ma'aser which shows that you're Mesiach Das. What do you mean? I could have half of it? No, because I guess like this. Once I start taking out, it's going to cause that one to cook faster. Right? Let's say I take out the cholent for that, and you'll leave that one in there, and whatever. You wouldn't do that. You're not going to be allowed to do that, right? Because once you're going to do that, so then what's going to happen? Then that piece of raw meat is not going to get cooked. LMI, fine. So I won't eat that raw meat. Yeah, but Einstein, why'd you throw it in? LMI, if you throw it in, it's showing us that he's doing it for tomorrow. That's the push-up shot. No, what's not true? That's why I was mocked him all this. That's why I was mocked him all this. Right? No, so Rabbi Samuel says, yeah, but maybe it'll get to MBD, Michael Ben Drusai, right? Copyright Samuel's, right? Maybe it'll get to MBD, right? What? No, but that's not going to help us over here, because no one is going to stoke. No one's going to stoke to try and get his food, right, to Mashiach, right? He wants, versteht? Right? He wants Yerushalayim Oyer Shel Olam. Understand? Okay. Let me get a component. Oh, I'm getting to that child by Danziger, so just hold on. Sorry? Oh, that you just were McCoven to Rabbi Danziger. You just asked the same question as Rabbi Lieberman. They want to know, yeah, but what about at 12 o'clock at night? That's a different shmooze. Okay, but let's go slowly. You know, Rabbi say there are people that don't eat cholent on Friday night. It's hard to believe, but there are such people. What? I know. In other words, the svara of Kitcher Chaisa Amiti is Pasha Mamanashach not going to get there. Right, Matthias is not going to get there, so not Kedai. And that svara of just throwing in a raw piece of meat sounds like it's like a maisa of showing on Mesiach Das. I know. Maybe someone brave will learn it's what's it called? Maybe someone brave will learn that it is the same thing, but I'm saying that's Kipshuta so far. Now, is Rabbi say, you can't take like a raw carrot, and throw it in. Carrot's not a good example because you eat raw anyways, but you can't take like an onion. Thank you. You can't take like a raw onion and throw her into the cholent because that taka does get cooked in 2 hours, right? So it's got to be something like, but that's why I said cholent, because cholent, the beans, the taka, raw beans take a very long time to cook. And I think potatoes also, no, potatoes probably also take a long time. Maybe potatoes, I think also. Certainly meat. Derech agav, what about chicken? Does chicken take, do you think they have the heter of chicken of Kiddush Chaisa? What would you say, Misfar? What would you say, Misfar? What would you say, everything? No, right? Chicken probably takes fast to cook, right? Right? That's what? He's one of those questions, tops or bottoms. So I would have thought that what? I would have thought there's no way there's a heter of Kiddush Chaisa on chicken. But you know what? The Mishabris is not like me. He's not an Arsimon. The Mishabris and Simon Rachel and Dalit and Ziv Katan, I think it was in Yud Beis. I didn't look this up before the Shiur, so I hope I'm wrong. I'm right. Where is it? Afilu basar gedi ve'oif. Afilu basar gedi ve'oif. There, come on. Where is it? Was I reading the right one? There it is. I was reading the wrong line. Sorry. Bein basar shor, bein basar gedi ve'oif. Right? Even it's a chiddush. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have said it before. What? No, okay, so Mishabur says not. Akapanim. No, not it's that I thought it takes a quick time to cook. That maybe it's very fast to cook. What? The what? Mishabur says first that you have a heter on chicken also. We'll get there. Now, but let's get started. Is a listen to this. Now we start. What? Okay, it's not exeris akasiv. It means types of foods. It's exeris akasiv, not exeris akasiv. I don't know potatoes. I'll be honest with you. Beans for sure. Beans take a very long time to cook. I think barley also takes quite a long time. No. No. Okay, maybe I'm wrong about barley. It could be I'm wrong about barley. Okay, you get my point, though, Rabbi Saif. You have beans for sure and meat for sure. So this guy has a cholent. Let's go back to our friend. He has a cholent. He puts it in. Now, the Mishabura says it's got to be raw. Oh, now let's start the Mishabura. It's got to be raw by when? Says the Mishabura. It has to be raw by Shkia. It's got to still be raw by Shkia. Rabbi Saif, we're in danger zone here. If it's a third cooked, it's anyways mutter according to some shitas. So we're not talking about that it's a third cooked. Okay? If it's not cooked at all, gewaldig. That's the case, it's mutter. If it gets a little bit cooked, so then that's already a problem, right? How do I know that? Says the Mishabura. Where are we? Right at the beginning here. Yud. Says the Mishabura. Shaloyin is bashal. Pirish. What? Why do I need pirish? The word loyin is bashal means, like the Shulchan Aruch says, loyin is bashal klal. What does that mean? Not cooked at all, right? So you'll see in a minute why you need pirish. Right? But the Mishabur says pirish. He says pirish. I'll explain it. Then it's allowed to do it. Then you're allowed to do it near shkia. First of all, the Mishabur says the word shkia. Doesn't say Kabbalah Shabbos. Everybody's like, most of us, we Makabal Shabbos, let's say 20 minutes before, 30 minutes before, whatever. Some people 10 minutes before, whatever it is. Each person Makabal Shabbos. Okay? Everybody's like, I'm Makabal Shabbos 20 minutes before. That means when am I putting up the chalent? I'm obviously not doing it once Shabbos starts, right? So that means 22 minutes before I put up the chalent. Okay? So now, between Shkia and Kabbalah Shabbos is 22 minutes. Bishlama, if I would put up my chalent, and then boom, I'm Makabel Shabbos, and that's it. So now we say, oh, you see, he's out of the cooking process because he's Mesiach Das, because he put something raw, and that's it. Now, from this point where he's halachically not allowed to stoke, he's out of the process because Mamanashach, by tomorrow it'll get there, and by tonight it won't be ready, right? But now the Mishnah Berurah says, no, listen to this. Mishnah Berurah says, you're Makabel Shabbos, every normal person, I don't know, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, each person. What? Wait. No, that doesn't say that. Mishnah Berurah doesn't say that. Well, oh, you mean you're saying the reason why? Okay, fine. Maybe that's why, because you can be shayel on the shop. Okay, but it says in Mishnah Berurah. I'm not saying, I'm not offering an opinion why the Mishnah Berurah said it, but that's what he says. Mishnah Berurah says, if you put a chalent into the crock pot, okay, and you did it 22 minutes before Shkia, now you got to daven to Hashem that in the next 20 minutes, it's not going to start cooking, right? Because, which is possible in a crock pot, we'll see. But why? Because in the next 20 minutes, if by Shkia is what's kaveh everything, I want to know what is her matziv when she comes to Shkia. I want to know this chalent, when she hits Shkia, is she a third cooked and then for sure she's okay? Is she not cooked at all and she's for sure okay? Or is she in the middle? She started getting cooked. So says the Mishnah Berurah, lein is special cloud, pirish, oz shari litno samach l'shkia, avalim nosno mi b'oidyoim aser. Why? The kfar is bashal ksas koidim Shabbos. But if you put it in, this heter is a very small heter now. If you put in this chalent, 22 minutes ago, now the Mishnah Berurah didn't have a crack pot, right? But if you put it in 22 minutes ago, then Pashtus is by the time Shkia hits, she's already going to be cooked. It's tzarich l'salik as she gives man Shabbos. You got to take it off when Shabbos comes because now already there's a Shabi Yechata. Then it says the Mishnah Berurah, klal, sivkat yidal, says the Mishnah Berurah, hainu, afilu chuchan atavshel mutter lahashois. Let's say the tavshel got hot. Let's say, you put it in the crock pot and you did it 22 minutes before. So now what happens? The water starts getting heated up. The meat starts getting heated up. Everything's getting hot. And it's hot. It's huchamata, and not only is the water hot, but the meat is hot. You take out the meat, you'll feel it's mamish hot. It's hot, right? So now, is it still mutter? Is it mutter? Says the Mishnah Berurah. Yes, it's still mutter. Afilu huchamat tavshel, even if the tavshel got hot, nami mutter lahashais. The like is reading shamirichata. Even if the food is hot, kevan the etzem abishol loin is bashal klal, because it has not been cooked. So if you would read just the Mishnah Berurah, how would you learn what's the Mishnah Berurah saying? What's the type of chalent that I have to put in order for it to be mutter, to have the heter of kiddush chaisa? I think what we would all say is that you got to put it in as close as possible to shkia, okay? And you got to make sure that by the time it hits shkia, right? And probably like you're saying, Rabbi Blinder, because I could be shayel on Shabbos, but you got to make sure that by the time you put this chalent in, by the time that shkia comes, it could be hot. I don't care if it's hot. I don't care if she's hot. All I care about is one thing. I just want to know, was there a bishul klal? Was there any, what does it mean, bishul klal? I guess, did the meat get like even a mashu softer? I guess, right? Like it's a mashu softer. Is it boiling hot? Yeah, it could be boiling hot. That doesn't bother me. So now, see this? Now, I did it during the week, just one moment. I did it during the week. So it's not the biggest raya. Like anybody wants tonight to have chalent in my house. I did a lot of these tests today. I did this test this morning. I put chalent in. Now it's not a raya. I know what you're going to say. It's a crock pot. And I know exactly what you guys are going to say. Whatever. I did a crock pot. And first of all, I wanted to see if the Rebbetzin was right? What? I didn't do a blech. No, I did a crock pot without a blech. Wait. I did a crock pot blech. I wanted to see, right? First of all, I turned it on. I put it on the highest because we need to see what would be if I would stoke, right? I put it on the highest. About if you're going to put it on the lowest. For Shteitzach, by the time you hit Shkia, 22 minutes, nothing's going to happen, right? I put it on the highest because I want to see what will happen when I stoke. 22 minutes, I have, a nice crock pot. It's not like some old crock pot or something. It's a very nice crock pot. I put in 22 minutes later. I thought that was like a normal number, like 22 minutes. I don't know why I got that number, but that's a number, right? So 22 minutes, I put it in. After 22 minutes, right? On high with water. Now, it didn't have, I know it's very scary, right? It didn't have like all the challah it didn't have, but it had a piece of meat in there. So if anything, it should be faster, right? It should be faster. So the water was decently hot. The water is decently hot. It's a crock pot. It's not like the water is decently hot. The piece of meat was decently hot. I don't think anything happened to this piece of meat. Like mamish garnished, mit garnished. I gotta took it straight out of the freezer. So I was thinking maybe that's also okay, but that's what you could do also. So you'll also take it straight out of the freezer, right? But it was hot. The water was decently hot. I don't think I would burn myself. The meat was hot, and this is mutter, right? When I took out the meat out, you'll see why I'm being mired. I took the meat out of the water. The meat was still hot. Okay. Then sometimes you take it out of the water, it won't be hot. After a second, no, the meat was hot. Okay. Okay. Now I gotta after 3 hours. You have 3 hours of cooking and this, right? It's not edible yet. Even on high, it's not edible yet. I don't know who has a crock pot not like this. Who said Rabbi you had a crock pot not like? Who had a what? Yeah, okay, maybe because it was frozen. I know there's a lot of things that are on rye. Also didn't have as much in it. That's right, the other way, right? I didn't have as much. I had a couple. I put in just like a bunch of potatoes, just like cut them up like this. I wonder what it's going to taste like. Is it but goya meat probably? No, I'm having it tonight for dinner, right? But I don't know, right? Stew, right? Stew, right? No, that's a yiddish. Stew, what? Come again? I don't know if that makes a difference, Rabbi. What? I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't care about that. I want to know, is it, what? First of all, that's not really true, you're saying, right? Because the whole entire middle is raw, right? I don't know. There has to be some case here, right? Mishabura has a case. He's saying that it's hot. Mishabura is saying it's hot, and Ava Bikain, it's called loinus bashal klal. That's the first in the Mishabura. Rabbi said, the Mishabura says the words, it's hot, and it's loinus bashal klal. Okay? What does hucha mean? Even though it's hucha, what does hucha mean? Rabbi say. Wait. Get to the chazanish. That's Hashem. I'm saying slowly. What's the pashut pshat? Anybody learning Mishabura? What's the pashut pshat? Sorry. Come again. Yeah. In other words, and even though it's boiling hot, that's the word of Mishabura. Even though it's hucham over here means cham. Okay. Now, Rabbi say is I say. Now the Maisa. You can ask a kasha, stam balabatish, but you all know the answer to the question. What's the difference if I put it in 1 minute ago earlier, right? If I put it in 1 minute ago earlier, so then it would be a mashu cooked now. If I would have done it maybe at 30 minutes or 35 minutes, it would be a mashu softer now. And maybe it'd be a mashu more, right? But if I do it now, so that it's not, you think it makes a difference? 1 minute makes a difference. The Torah is light plug. Chazal had to say, because every person is going to come along and say, what's the difference? 5 minutes? What's the difference? 12 minutes? What's the difference? 30? So Chazal said, tachlis, if she's not cooked at all, okay, so then even if she's hot, so then it doesn't matter. That's considered chai adkan. Comes again the chazanish, which is being mitzayin over here. The chazanish in Siman Lamed Zayin and Sivkot in Yud Beis. He says v'nira. Now it might say like this. I must tell you, if you want to argue and say it's a machlekes Mishabura and the chazanish, no, so you could learn this machlekes chazanish Mishabura who could fight with the Mishabura, and the chazanish would tell you that you should pass in like. If you ask me what to do, the chazanish would say go do like the Mishabura. Okay, but sometimes you have a bigger problem. Sometimes you have a problem that the chazanish tells you this is pshat in the Mishnah Berurah. And now you're fighting with the Chazanish how to learn the Mishnah Berurah. That's very dangerous. That's scary. And the Chazanish over here, he fights with the way I just said how to learn the Mishnah Berurah. Okay? Machlekes, Shragi Kallus, and Rabbi Karelitz, how to learn the Mishnah Berurah. Who should you go like? You should go like the Chazanish. That's what I would say. So, Maisa, the Chazanish says a pshat in the Mishnah Berurah over here. He says nearly that we're talking about that the meat hasn't reached yet. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of people that say Kallus. Some people say Karelitz. Okay, it's not like it's here on TV. Okay, right? So, right? Somebody wrote K. Okay, for sure. Okay. I tell you the Chazanish wins, Rabbi say. So, Rabbi say, the Chazanish says, Nira, that when the Mishabura says the words Chucham, he means that the meat hasn't reached yet Yad Saledis by. I don't think he means the water. I think he means the meat. He says the meat hasn't reached yet Yad Saledis by. But if the meat reached Yad Saledis by, so he says that's already game over. That's it is because once the meat reached Yad Saledis by already, so then already it's no longer chai. Now Lemaisa and he lo mevin how to read Bein the Shulchan Aruch and how to read the Mishabura. Shulchan Aruch says loin is bashal klau. Doesn't say anything. And the Mishabura says the words, Pirish, Hainu tafilu, chucha matavshel, even if the tafshel is hot, I just care, cave into etzema bishul loinus bashal kla. Since saif it hasn't been cooked. The daiti, this isn't the pashup shot in the Mishabura, but akapanim. No, so lefi this, the Chazon Ish just made this the heter of Kidra Chaisa even smaller. Even smaller. It's mamish small. Now, I must tell you, the description I just described with a hot plate, with a crock pot, even lefi the Chazon Ish, it's probably still butter. Because I told you it was hot. Right? I told you the meat was hot. I don't know. According to some shitas, was it yatsa lettuce? Definitely. Right? Could you now maybe be makel and not go with the Chazon Ish? If you remember, the Chazon Ish had a very extreme approach in yatsa lettuce. So maybe I could be makel on the shaila, on the yatsa lettuce by shaila. And I'll tell you that piece of meat was not 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Then for sure not. It was probably about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. It was hot. You felt hot, right? It's probably about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And I imagine harbe yesh makim lahakol, because I don't believe that's the pashup shad mishabur anyways. Plus together with the Chazon Ish himself, plus together what's the yatzaledus by? No, sakapanim. That's the eitzah. So this Jew wants to know: can I put up a chalent on Friday afternoon right before Shabbat? The answer is that if you're going to do it with a crock pot, right, then the stomach is a makim to be makel on the crock pots that we have, because you have meat in there. It's not going to get too hot, but don't you dare go and do it like 30 minutes before, 40 minutes. I don't know the number, right? I don't know the exact number, but you can't do it at a point. If you would have asked me, I would have said you can't do it at the point of when the meat is actually going to start getting affected. Okay, Baruch Hashem for the Chazon Ish, because it's going to be very, very difficult to figure out my mahalach, right? Who knows at what point the meat gets affected, right? So I would say that certainly once it's 170 degrees, it's mamish hot, it's very, very hot, then already be chayshish for the Chazon Ish. And like I told you, you probably have about between 20 and 25 minutes. If anybody does tests, you should let me know, because maybe crackpots not, not all crackpots are shaveh. Love kol crackpots shaveh. Rose? Come again? No, it's not important. It has to be that by shkia, I don't know the number. It has to be by shkia that it's not yatzaletis by. That's the Chazon Ish. And I want to know what's the din when it comes to shkia. Okay? Come again? That's a nice eitzah. Very good. Abagindi says he has a great eitzah. The eitzah is I don't know, you don't know what's yatzaletis and you don't know what's this. So Abagindi says, I got a great idea. I'll just turn on a Shabbos clock, right? And 2 minutes before Shkia, right? Whatever it is, what? So that's already, we'll see. That's already so a little bit of a shot, but whatever. 2 minutes before Shkia, whatever it is. 2 minutes before Shkia, I'll turn the Shabbos clock on, and the challenge will go on by itself. It'll go on by itself, and then it's Kitcher Chaisa. It's Kitcher Chaisa, and everything is great, right? What about that? You think that's okay? What do you think? Mamish is cooking his challenge, and it's the chayot. It's Kitcher Chaisa. What do you think? Chayot sounds like it's a great idea, right? 2 minutes after, we'll see that might not be so pasha, but 2 minutes before Shkia, that's okay. So that's a chayot neitzah. I'm seeing a lot of questions over here, right? Okay, that question, every answer I'm going to get to in a second, right? That we'll get to, Bez Hashem. And any other questions over here? 1 second. Now somebody's still dealing with Karelitz and Kallus. Okay, said still part of the machlek. Okay. Now Rabbi is a say. So now I hear everything. Okay. Now, and what about now? The Biur Halacha says that technically you have this heter even in a tanner, which is Chaimei Rav. Says the Biur Halacha. Now the Biur Halacha comes along. It says, I'm going to give you the heter at Kama, says the Biur Halacha, that it won't get cooked by the meal. Let's say I have a food and it'll get cooked after the meal. It'll get cooked by, I'm going to eat my meal at 8 o'clock, like a normal person, 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever, right? But I'm not eating my meal at 10 o'clock at night. Okay, I'm not eating my meal. I'm certainly not eating my main at 10 o'clock at night. So the Biur Halacha says, even if you have a tanner Rav, you have a Chaimei Rav, you have a tanner, which is boiling hot, and it's true, it's not going to get there by the meal time. It'll get there for after the meal time. Again, I know what the Olam wants to ask about, and we'll get there, Mitzvah Shem. There's a chaver that eats cholent on Friday night, and whatever. We'll get to those guys. But let's say it's not that. Let's say it's a chicken or something, And he wants to know. I'll go and I'll put it in a fire in an oven where it'll be cooked for after the meal, right? So that the Mishabura says the Mishabura is going to be mutter. That the Mishabura says it's going to be mutter. Right? Because if it's ain't darka of people to eat the meal that late, so that also goes into the gather of an asuche daitai. Okay? But what's the obvious implication in the Mishabura? It goes without saying. What would be halacha l'maisa if I have food that it's raw and it will get cooked by the time that the meal is, okay? Well, what's the case? The case is your oven, and the case is what? Your chicken, right? And even though I told you chicken has a head of kiddush chaysa, but there's no question. Rabbi say, is it possible to cook chicken in an hour and a half? 2 hours? Of course it's shy to cook chicken in an hour and a half or 2 hours, right? Because that's what we do during the week, right? So then even if you're going to go and more so, that's what the person is coming to do, right? He's coming to cook it. So in that case, is there any heter of kiddush chaysa? Of course not, right? It's the most punching thing in the world. It's not gzeres hakasef. What? No, but again, what do you mean? He put in raw chicken. He put in the most raw thing in the world. But since your oven is of such that it's something you could just put it up to 350, 400, and you can get it done. But till now, we're talking about a crack pot. No, the whole lump falls off. The atzuche daite. You want to know, what if he puts in something which is not impossible to cook in there in the 2 hours? Okay, in an oven, there's no such thing. Everything you cook in an oven, come on. Okay, first of all, it's not such a normal thing. He's going to go and put it in a piece of meat. Second of all, it can get cooked, no? And then you could also get cooked. You could cook meat in 2 hours. For sure, you can cook meat in an oven in 2 hours. Just put up to 500. You could cook in 2 hours. Right? And they didn't have that. That's the difference between a kira and what we have. So Maisa, this is what the price can say. I must tell you that there's a chazanish. You think the chazanish has a chumras? He's got kulas over here. Chazanish is all over the place over here. Chazanish over here. The chazanish argues on this Mishnah Berurah. On this Bir Lacha. What I just quoted is the Bir Lacha. The Bir Lacha says what I just said. He says, but first, that if you have a Choymei Rav, so he says, if it will be ready after the meal, says the Bir Lacha, then it's going to be mutter, right? Because it's not going to be ready for the meal. But if it'll be ready for the meal, so then about it, there's no Xeris, a cause of Kiddush Chayisa. It's a mitzvah. The Chazayin Ish, I didn't see the Chazayin Ish inside. I saw it in the back of the Mishnah Berurah. I wonder if this one has it. I have a Mishnah Berurah at home that has the Chazayin Ish in the back. It brings down all these chazanish, but I didn't see where it was inside. But the chazanish in the back of the Mishnah Berurah, the chazanish says that I don't agree with the Bir Lacha. He says it's a mamish loy plug lekula. If you have a food that's raw and you put it in an oifen, it's to me a big unbelievable pellet. But he says you put it in an oifen that it technically could be ready by the meal. You put it in an oifen where it's technically going to be ready by the meal. So they weren't geyser on Kiddush Chayisa, a pellet. If you have it, I'll read it. It's mamish unbelievable. You have it over there? Yes, you found it? Let me see. It's unbelievable Kiddush. Unbelievable. It's nothing personal. I do this to my wife also. Yeah, thank you. Here it says, Bir Lacha Mesiach, afilu atanur chaymei rav, v'yochol ispashal b'kam shoyis b'layla mutter, kol shein derech shel b'nei adam la'ante b'suda ayin chazanish, the mashma from the Bir Lacha, like I just told you, dim daita lecha b'layla, pirish, the daita lecha b'layla b'zman mocher, aser, okay? Okay. He says, let's say you plan on eating this chicken a little bit later. Basically, you're eating it for the night. A little bit different than what I was saying. Ve'ein adavar kain like gazru chachamim afilu oyimid u'mitzapa lecho balayla. Chachamim weren't geyser, even if you plan on eating it. Thank you so much. What? Say what? Kevin there? Just say the words. Oh, because you have the mask. I was wondering why I'm not hearing you. Kevin the what? This is the one I gotta have. Kevin the. Where is she?
Last name, second.
Vanira? Kevin the Aroiv ain't mashing Kiddush Chayisa Zech Macher. Because Al Pi Roiv, you don't mash it. It's an unbelievable thing. He made a light plug. Rosh Shlomo Zalman says that I don't understand this chazanish. It's a pella. That's what he writes. He writes it's a pella. It's not a gzeres akos. It's not the kon of Chazal. There's no the kon of Chazal to matir Kiddush Chayisa. I mean, there was, but the Takon of Chazal was based on a svara. He says, no, there was a Takon of Chazal. The Takon of Chazal was Kiddush Chayis's mother, and therefore, Api Roiv most of the time. It's a big chiddush. It means that according to the Chazanish, you can take a chicken on Erev Shabbos, 10 minutes before Shabbos, and you woke up late, and you can go and cook it for tonight's meal, right? Because Chazal weren't geyser on a chicken. What? It's a plea, it's a mamash plea. It's a plea. First of all, the Bir Lacha is first not like that, right? But it's a plea. He's not meisech das. Rabbi Sher, this is how your wife is cooking the food tonight. That's what she does. She's cooking a piece. Rabbi Sher, he's cooking it for tonight's meal. It's like unbelievable. It's an unbelievable thing. What the Chazon Ish says, it's unbelievable. He's cooking it for the night's meal. It's unbelievable. So you see, the most non-Messiah das in the world. He has a chef hat on. He's got an apron on. I don't know. Why? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Well, because you're not doing a ma'aser. How do you have a light on, have an air conditioning go on? It goes on its own, as long as you're not doing anything. That's not a kasha. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Now, by side, no, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's unbelievable. Right? It comes out that it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable cool. And Bnei Brak's unbelievable cool. Right? We in Yerushalayim, what are we going to say? We're going to tell them, just take the chicken, put it into some type of a pan, put it on the blech, just put it on the blech and let it cook on the blech. But in the world of the Bnei Brak, in Chazon Ish, in the world over there, there's no such thing as a blech. So he has this big problem. So he says, I have no problems. Just put it on raw chicken. Okay, how are you going to put it on raw chicken? Here it's a little bit difficult, right? Here it's a lot harder. No, see, it's a lot harder over here. Because here you have to put on the chicken and that it shouldn't start getting cooked by shkia, right? That's not so easy. How are you going to make it that the chicken doesn't get cooked by shkia? What? Come again? I'm saying with the Chazon Ish it's very difficult because once it gets the Yatzel lettuce by, it's very difficult. What? Come again? So you're going to have to do Rabbi Gindi's Eitzah. You're going to have to do Rabbi Gindi's Eitzah. Very good you came today. Rabbi Gindi's Eitzah. For the Chazon Ish, you'll take the chicken, you'll put it into the oven on a Shabbos clock, and it'll go on 2 minutes before Shkia, and then you're allowed to do that even though you're going to eat it on Friday night. The Bishur holds that this is forbidden, and I wouldn't do it. I'm telling you not to do this, right? Not to do this. Now, no, what happened today? We didn't learn one word. Wait a minute. But I have to tell you, I wanted to tell you the Eitzah. No, but it's going to take me too long to say the Eitzah. Oh, you fouled. All right, so I won't end with the Eitzah. Tomorrow, the first minute of the Shiur, I'll just do the Eitzah. But at the end, everybody's asking me a question. Everyone's asking me, but today there's a new phenomenon. So I just gave you, today we have two Eitzahs. One is that if the Chazon Ish have an Eitzah, you can take a chicken and put it on right before Shabbos. Okay, the Shiur doesn't agree with that. The Shiur doesn't agree with that, so you can't do it. The Shiur doesn't agree with that, you can't do it, so you have to put it on a blech. Chazon Ish doesn't agree with a blech. Okay, right? It's great. The Chazon Ish doesn't agree with a blech, but who cares? The Chazon Ish is going to hold its mutter anyways. Right? Why? Because it's Kedusha Chaisa. Right? So everybody's going to be happy. Okay, but you have to know if it'll be Kedusha Chaisa by the time Shkia comes. Okay, right? Other eights I told you today, take meat, take it frozen, whatever, put it onto the blech, onto the crack pot 20 minutes before Shkia. By the time Shkia hits, it's not going to be a problem. And then by tomorrow, the challenge won't be a problem because tomorrow, by tomorrow, it's going to be cooked and you're not going to come. And that's the heter of Kedusha Chaisa. Okay? Now, that's the only two cases in the world. I'm saying, the Chazon Ish, we don't hold it. The only case in the world where it's negeya, basically the heter of Kedusha Chaisa is a crack pot, and that is a heter. That's it. But the Ma'aser, the Olam is asking me a very big shaila. This is a takar shaila. Let's say you eat chalent on Friday night. The like Chazon Ish now, right? The Chazon Ish is going to have a heter anyways because Kedusha Chaisa is exeris akasiv, that it's always a like plug and it's mutter. Let's say you don't go with the Chazon Ish. And you don't go with that heter, okay? Which the Bir Lacha doesn't go with that heter, right? But the Bir Lacha told me if the food won't be ready by the meal, the Bir Lacha told me it's mutter. So okay, the chalent won't be ready by the meal. Okay, but wait a minute. But the chalent is going to be ready by when? By 6 hours, the chalent's ready, I think so. The chalent on high, it's not on high, it's probably on low. But by 6 hours on high, for sure the chalent's ready. It definitely is edible, and I don't think it's just Michael Ben Zai. I don't think it's MBD, and I don't think it's even the other one, the Yaakov Ben Fried or whatever, right? I don't think it's that. But what? But Al Kapanim, it's definitely edible by 6 hours, right? So now, l'chayra, let's take two cases. Let's say you're someone that every Friday night you munch on chalent at 11 o'clock at night. Is there anybody here that does that? A lot of people do. What? After the tish. After the tish. I thought because they don't eat at the tish? So what do they do at the tish? Yeah, shirayim. So you mean forget, you come home, you have mamish like an appetite. It's like, okay. So he's saying that after the tish. That's a very good case. After the tish, right? So very good. So now you come home after the tish and your mom is so hungry, you could eat a cow. right? Because the Rebbe was Zetzach over there and he had all that geschmack of food and you're sitting there, your mouth was watering and it doesn't help to sing either, right? Because when you sing, it makes you more thirsty and hungry and everything. You come home, so you go right for the cholent. You go right for the cholent. So in that case, is there going to be a heter now for you to have the crackpot on Erev Shabbos? In that case, and it's mamish no heter, right? Oh, so Rabbi Cooper says maybe you could say a heter that the only time that Chazal made a gzeira of shehiyah is when it's for the meal, but not when it's not for the meal. This is a snack. No, I mean, you got to be a big plate just to say such a thing. I'd be scared to say such a thing. No. Does anybody want to say such a thing? That means that it's not going to be ready for the meal, but it'll be ready for my snack, and I want a snack. So then I might come to stoke, right? I might come to stoke. And you can hear, it's also like you say, fine, but it'll be ready anyway, so why would I stoke? No, 11 o'clock at night, you zikr could come to stoke because you're not sure, you could get nervous and whatever, for sure. So who would be makel on that? Would anybody be makel on that? I wouldn't be makel on that. I think that would be a problem, right? I think that'd be a problem. No? Okay, you have the Chazanish anyways, because the Chazanish anyways held that the whole thing is Xeris Akosiv. It's mutter, it's a like plug, mutter. Okay, but now I was thinking, and I'll end with this, and you should think about this. So then I decided maybe it's for Fallon. Maybe for Fallon. Maybe the whole heter of Kitcher Chaises are up, it's gone. Maybe the whole entire heter. Why? Because once there's enough people out there, you don't eat your cholent on Friday night. You never eat your cholent on Friday night, okay? You don't eat cholent on Friday night. Okay, but there's a whole world of people out there today that come home from the Tish, right? There's lots of Hasidim, right? There's the Hasidim, they procreate Kanai Nahara like Frankish, right? So there's lots and lots of Hasidim, right? So you come home from the Tish and you're so hungry, you're so thirsty, you're so everything. So you say, I'm not Hasidish. So yeah, but there's enough Hasidim out there, right? That now it's a normal thing. So maybe, who says we look at you? What do you think to that? What do you think that? Who says we look at you to see? Because now we say, oh, he's vade misir das. Why is he misir das? Because he's not having it till tomorrow, right? Rabbi say, I prove to you you don't hold to that svara. Should I prove to you don't hold to that svara? The halacha is that what if you have a food which is, it's under a third, for sure not kiddush, okay? And you say mefresh, I'm not eating it until tomorrow. You say mefresh, I'm not eating it until tomorrow. You know what it's called in English? It's called cholent, right? Let's say you put it on, it's a third. And you say, I'm not eating it until tomorrow. That the Mishnah Berurah says mefresh. There's a kolbai that the kolbai says that there's a makom to be makel. The Mishnah Berurah says he doesn't like this heter. I don't care. It's saif. It would be ready by tonight. And I don't care that you plan on not having it until tomorrow. So now the question is, do you say Haim Isvara together with the kolbai? First of all, it's for a snack. And second of all, I don't plan on having it until tomorrow. And third of all, there's enough people out there that don't have cholent, that it's like a normal thing. It's like a group of people, you put it all together and maybe, maybe it's a rub, the gans heter of Kiddush Chaisa. Maybe there's no more heter of Kiddush Chaisa in the world, right? So I have a few cheshbonos here why it could be makel. Number one is that I don't plan on if you plan on having it tonight, game over. But I don't plan on having it tonight, number one. And number two is the kolbai tells me whenever I don't plan on having it tonight. And number three, it's a snack. And number four, the chazanish. The chazanish tells us anyways mutter because it's a light plug. They made a light plug the kula, right? But I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about this. I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about it. And I'll make it worse. The person that called me from Lakewood today, the case, he told me, well, the way he said it, he said he doesn't have it. This Rabbi Herman from Lakewood, he says, I don't have the cholent. I don't have the cholent on Friday night. Yeah, but what about your children? What about the kids? They have cholent on Friday night. And maybe in your house they don't because maybe, it's not ready yet or whatever, right? But there are people that do. So I don't believe that type of Esech Hadas is going to work on types of people, humans that actually, and there's nothing done to the fire that you could even say some type of a Sfar V'Heker. I'm very nervous if this Rabbi Herman is going to be able to have his cholent this Friday. Maybe tomorrow I'll say something, I don't know. But I'm very nervous what's going to be if he's going to be able to have his cholent this Friday night. Okay? Call to Rabbi say. Davin for us. Okay.